Hello, my name is Taliesin, and today I will be telling you about our four-dimensional universe. I've seen lots of videos about the dimensions, the shape of our universe, how gravity works, but I've never seen a video that unites all those into one idea, so that's what I'm going to do in my video.
To understand this video, you will need a basic understanding of the dimensions. The dimensions are basically ways of measuring space and time in the universe, and maybe the multiverse even. So, the first dimension is a line. A one-dimensional object can move forwards or backwards along that line, but not up or down or left or right. The second dimension is a plane. A two-dimensional object could move left or right or forwards or backwards, but it couldn't move up or down because it's restricted to the plane. The third dimension you're probably familiar with because you're three-dimensional. A three-dimensional object, I'll use a cube to represent it, can move up, down, left, right, forwards, or backwards. Now is the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is basically time. A four-dimensional object can move up, down, left, right, forwards and backwards through time. So a four-dimensional person could time travel whenever they wanted. Those are four of the about 11 dimensions, but I'm not going to explain all of them right now because, as it happens, this video is not all about dimensions. Let's talk about the universe. The universe is probably big, rounded, blobby shape like that, with galaxies everywhere. But for simplicity, let's assume it's a sphere. There. It would be a 4D sphere. Since 4D is basically time, how can there be a shape that's time? This is how. Here is a 3D sphere. It has 2D people living on the surface of it. Flat people. They have a house. It only has 2 walls, but that's okay because things can't get in the third dimension because they're only 2D. There is their 3D universe. They're very happy and content. Now let's scale everything up a dimension. Their 3D universe would become 4D. The 2D people would become 3D. Now we have 3D people living on the surface of a 4D sphere. This may seem impossible, and well, it does seem impossible, but it's not. There are galaxies, solar systems, all those things. That is basically our universe. So we are the 3D people living on the surface of the 4D sphere. The universe is expanding. This is called inflation. The interesting thing about the expansion of the universe is that it's expanding in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is time, so it's expanding in time. That means that it's moving forwards in time. That's why we have time. If the universe wasn't moving or expanding at all, then we wouldn't have any time. So, here is the future, and inside is the past. the very center is when the Big Bang happened in time. So it's basically a history of time. The very edge is where we are now. So the edge is the present. The edge is always going into the expanding into the future. So basically, the expansion of the universe is time. The 4D-ness of our universe has many effects on us and our solar system, such as the fact that massive objects make 4D dents in the surface of the universe. Things can fall into these dents. This is called gravity. An interesting thing about gravity is that gravity actually makes you go back in time, or at least makes you go slightly slower through time. Because remember how we had this picture? The center of the universe marks the beginning of time. The edge, the surface, is the present. It's the same here. So the closer you get to the center of the universe, the closer you get in time to the beginning of time. That means you're going back in time. So gravity is really valleys in time. Another example of a time dilation with gravity, or maybe time dilation is something else, time changing with gravity, is a black hole. A black hole, at the center of a black hole, there's no time. And on your way into the black hole, there's so much gravity that you get stretched because your legs have more gravity on them than your head. A black hole is basically a massive hole in the universe. It reaches to the center. It reaches to the beginning of time, the Big Bang.
For this demonstration, I will need a universe. Luckily, I have the ingredients for one, so let's make our universe expand. And we'll make sure our universe doesn't shrink. That would be bad. Okay. So, as I showed, gravity is like massive objects making dips in the surface of the universe. So here's a massive object, maybe a star, maybe a planet, and here is a different object that is going to be affected by its gravity. So, there, gravity. The less massive object falls into the dip in space-time made by the more massive object. In this video, we've covered the dimensions, the shape of the universe and its four-dimensionality, how it's expanding and stuff, and we've covered the effects of having a 4D expanding universe. Well, that is it. I hope you enjoyed my video and will have a great day. Wait, if space was stretched in the fourth dimension, then you would have a room that's bigger on the inside than on the outside. Maybe that's how Mary Poppins' bag works. Whoa. And then it would form anti-gravity or gravity, so maybe that's why all the things come shooting out so easily.